body, and very proud I got gifted these elven ears. Really technical jewelry garments. The month of March, they say, is like the eye of a needle, or like emotional canyon, where you gotta keep your sanity, stay in your heart, and really staying in your heart, not just talking. Staying in your heart is actually not acting out evil, not cursing at people, throwing out curse words, lowering your dimensional aspects in order to deal with the old paradigm where we came from. We're just shifting internally, externally. The old world and parameters are falling apart, and my advice is let go. I myself had a clearing that again humbled me more to understand and appreciate life and why am I here and what my mission is, and to be concrete and consequent with actions, seeing things for what they are, not adding to the picture, and then realizing what the real magic is. What I went through was a heavy purge in both directions, all possible directions. My body emptied itself and I couldn't eat for 2 days. Right now my body is on lock. It's like only greens. The conditioning of the mind, 20,000 years and more of, you can say the world has been under Anunnakian influence, which is an invisible, you can say, an adhesive contractual incarceration of the mind. And for as long as you don't wake up, you don't even know that you're incarcerated. My mind was ripped to shreds. What I had left is just this beingness of self and no thought. Like any thought that I would have was detrimental. Any thought would lead me into something that is an illusion. Basically, referring to a movie that I once watched that was called Nirvana, based on Philip K. Dick's novel, is the spiritual people could be tracked if they used thought. So they trained to stay in a dream state. In a dream state, thought is not required, or that what we call thought here. Because a thought would send off a signal that would make you trackable in 3D, that makes you actually part of a system. So I went through an initiation where I had to learn to have really no thought, and I was forced to having no thought because I felt so sick. My hands would lock. I would sit like this. My jaws would clench. I couldn't call for help. Luckily I made it to the bathroom, and I couldn't talk. It was everything. It's like my muscles would lock and I would sit there like and I was like, okay, all I have right now is myself and holding on to whatever that is that keeps the body at least upright. That's all I had left. Everything was taken from me. And then my body fired up as if like a flame was turned on. It's like, and then my temperature, like I got fever and then it dropped and it went ice cold and then I got fever and then it dropped. It's like it came in waves. It pushed. It kept pushing as if like a violent flame pushed through my body. Then a silver ray of grace going through my body. I felt like a billion gigaton volts going through my crown to the back, down the spine, running through me, and I'm thinking I'm not going to make it. I was sitting there thinking, oh, I might faint, and I was like, I was in horror. It's like fear of death programs running. But I'm like, okay, if I die here or my heart fails, what happens to those that I leave behind? I have no idea. I have a job to do. I want to finish something. I want to have an impact on the world. I really, really want to be in planetary service, and I'm still here. I came to Arizona on faith. I have no financial backup or security or anybody that would validate, say, well, this is the right move. I just followed my heart and my intuition. I saw the rocks. I fell in love with this land here. And the birds that you hear in the background sound like the same birds like in Egypt when I went to Cairo. And I feel a strong connection that I had with past lives in Egypt. And I feel this Egyptian energy emanating through the core here. So I feel very much at home. But back to the subject of reflecting in March is I felt like, and I still feel like we're going through this to this needle. It's like when you really get sensitive, you realize certain foods you can't eat no more. And yes, I'm for healthy eating, trimming it down to what you really need. You gotta do it according to the wave shifts in your body, what to eat, what not to eat right now. What I follow is the resonance that my body gives me, and whatever my body said, there's a resonance that I will tap into it. Right now, my body tells me keep it light. Your process, clearing out everything, like this place here in Arizona forces out everything that you've ever had, even if it was dormant, it has to come out. I felt like a big relief. A lot of good things are basically being released as I'm letting things go of an old concept. This also has to do with belief structures that are no longer essential for you, that no longer help you sustain a thought pattern that's actually not needed by your body. So the March overall is, people think it's viral, I think it's energetic. It's if you have, you know, any stuff, emptying menus, returning, or you're flushing out the back, don't worry. This March is very extreme. The weed out process is pretty extreme. Same what I would suggest for any business that you have, that is from private business to governmental structures. If any conscious being watches this video and you have any awareness of any corruption within your field, and you keep holding up the lie and maintain that, it'll crumble. If we resist to what's to come to the surface, you either lose your job or your job is going to be transformed into something else for the better. But know the signs, be righteous, and be with the people and for the people. Not for a group of people that claims they're for the people when they care more about whatever you can say their intake is. So they're not about sharing, they're more about the taking. So when you see stuff that comes from injustice, you know, not right and just, you are here to speak up now, to make a change and to validate truth more and be in your truth. It doesn't make sense that you can earn your buck and keep it safe watching the lie unfold, only to make sure that your sustainability is taken care of. Any business that has a foundation that is not based on LOVE, mark my words, will not be able in the future to sustain itself. That's why we love YouTube, where the camera shows you and reflects you how you are right now in a conscious mirror, to see who is talking, what's the directive, where's the focus, how clear is whatever topic it's necessary to be shared, how clear is that communicated, you know, how transparent is that character. Does a company or a private person have a face, you know, do I feel comfortable dealing with this or that? It's about resonance and where your resonance is in the future and how you attune yourself with being resonant. Also, again, in March, heavy reflecting on self and others. You do not really require a reflection anymore when you begin to understand, or better yet, overstand or understand who you are. Because in the past I had people that were doing things that I didn't really appreciate. So that's the question for the individual: how long do I need to realize that the person is doing the opposite of what I'm doing? You know, I had friends that stole from me, And I'm not saying that I'm a saint, but like, let's say we the little people have actually the power. The meek shall inherit the earth. Why go to the little to get that what you don't have? See, the thief never goes like Robin Hood to the king and takes stuff. Even though we hear now that the royal families are all coming down, being broke, running out of finances, losing properties, getting caught in all types of suspicious action. It's all coming to the surface now. There's no escape. Any corrupt behavior, anything that's based on fraudulent behavior, will have to answer to the high court. And the high court is us. The all-seeing eye is not just fused on a dollar bill, and we are not empowered because the dollar bill is an adhesive contract, which you don't know about. Is know what you're dealing with and know where you put the energy that you're dealing with. The all-seeing eye is you. You at the gas station watching the dude that's maybe an abusive husband to his wife, and you intervening saying, you better stop it or I'll file a report. Not to bring in authorities unnecessarily, but right now we got to keep it at peace with people. We have to keep our emotionals in control. We have to stay away from demonstrations where we make ourselves targets and victims, and they can trap you in with their draconian laws and create a database because for you acting not according to their dance, don't dance their dance. Don't go into the streets and scream or file for petitions that never will be heard. The question is now, do you remember that speech? And I don't want to repeat who said that. You best to know who said that. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask yourself what you can do for your country. Ask not what the planet can do for you. Ask yourself what you can do for the planet. And it starts with you in your neighborhood. What are you doing to be nice to one another? To respect one another, not to lie to each other, and even white lies or whatever that is. I had cases where I gave people money and told them to do a job. The job wasn't done. I didn't get my money back. And then they claim they're entitled. They don't even owe me any money. So that's what that is. Trusting people, the so-called spiritual people, was costing me, over the years, you can say $3,000 that you just took and ran with, where they say caring is sharing. And when you bring home the goods, they take your goods and there's nothing being reciprocated. So very quick, we have to be rational, break it down into where are we, what are we dealing with. Again, not adding to the picture, not fantasizing about, well, I see the person in the light. Well, if somebody behaves like an a-hole, you can imagine and assume as much as you want about that being. If in fact the behavioral structure in front of you and pattern is not changing, you're not convinced, and you don't have to trust, and nor do you have to be in the same field with that person. The next thing also is the information that you watch, you'll become. You'll watch and trace videos on YouTube because you have to basically reevaluate yourself and address the things that you need to look at. That's why you find certain videos. Maybe that's why you found me. There's certain things that you're hearing in here that within yourself need to be addressed, and you need to look at them, and you need to reevaluate, recalibrate, and come back again. So be mindful of the information that you put into your system, whether it's food or whatever you watch.
What the world needs now is your love. What we need.